I mean, look at the face expression of these three figures. Oh, this is perfect. This is amazing. But this is the most unfortunate part. This is a product of art theft. This figure is just such a waste not to be released as a licensed product. Hi and welcome back to the channel. Steven right here with your weekly figure news for this week, which will be between 18th to 23rd of December. Yeah, we have quite a bunch of nice stuff despite being right before Christmas, and at the time of publishing this video, it is Christmas Eve. So anyways, Merry Christmas to all of you. How are you planning to celebrate this period, this day? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, I think it is business as usual. Nothing special really. I'm taking a week off from work. Yeah, see, maybe I'll go out for photography, figure photography, or I'll just stay at home and play some games. That is about it. Okay, as usual, we'll go through some genuine figures first, and we do have nice stuff for this week. Then we'll move on to third priorities. Firstly, Hobby Link Japan, which is our affiliate partner, will go through the genuine skill figures on pre-order for this week. Okay, so the first one will start off with something saucy and hot, right? Okay, 1x7 skill, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Lukoa Bikini Style by Q6. Yeah, this is totally something Q6 does. There are two options over here for the same price of 19,800 yen at 1x7. This is the fair skin version and this is the tanned version, and I would say the tanned version looks so much better for some reason. Even though this is not what Lukoa looks like in the anime, you know, but somehow this tanned skin with that green color hair and the silver chrome color bikini, it looks so well. Oh, I mean, it looks like a great color combination over here, right? So this is one of those few rare exceptions where I think the 10th version looks a bit better. Yeah. And with figures of Lukoa, I think there are not many, right? I remember the 1x4, 1x3 ink, I think. And are there any other options? I'm sure there are, but I just can't recall any at the moment. 20,000 yen is actually a pretty fair price for this figure. And if you are into this kind of figures, then maybe pick one up. Yeah, maybe pre-order it. Q6 is... it is an okay brand, right? Their figures are not exceptional in any way. I rank them as tier B, yeah, which is similar to Kotobukiya. But tier B for X-rated figure brand and tier B for normal figure brands that don't make edgy figures. They're a bit different, yeah. Okay, I would still rate Kotobukiya above Q6, but their stuff are not too bad, really. And if you like this one, maybe pick one up. Moving on to the next one over here. 1x6 skill concept master line, which is Palm 1 Studio premium stuff, resin. 7 deadly sins Meliodas ban, and King DX version. So this is the deluxe version going for 203,000 yen. The face over here, I like the left one a bit more. The right one looks a bit wacky for some reason. But you know, I did not go beyond a few episodes in season 1 for this anime. So yeah, I don't know too much about this series, the 7 Sins, though I have heard it is worth picking up, just that it is quite a long series, right? We are now in 3rd season or something like that. Okay, so deluxe version, 203,000 yen, very expensive and not something I would buy, but I totally understand why the price point is this high, because this is resin, a lot more expensive. And there is a cheaper version over here, just 25,000 yen cheaper. Okay, and what's the difference again? Just the more epic base, right? Let's go back to the pictures. Okay, so... hold on, what is the difference over here? I think the only difference is you're getting those extra face plates, right? For the deluxe version. Let's go through the... I'm confused right now. I am confused. I did not post this figure on my Facebook page because, well, how do I put it? I usually don't cover male characters, but this thing is quite unique in a way, so might as well cover it in my weekly news video. Okay, so that 25,000 yen of difference is just for those extra face plates. And one could say that getting extra face plates, a few of them, for another additional 25,000 yen feels a bit excessive. Like, 20k, 25k for faceplates, man. If the two figures are exactly the same, which is what I'm seeing over here, and the only difference is those extra faceplates, yeah, those extra parts, I don't think an additional 25,000 yen is worth it. You see, I normally tend to recommend you guys to go for the more expensive version, go for the complete package, but to pay an additional 25,000 yen or 200 US dollars for 3 or 4 extra faceplates in the figure, that is absurd, right? Okay, so maybe pick up the cheaper version for this one. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, this is probably one of the hot items this week as well. 1x4 skill Anise from Goddess of Victory NIKKE. Oh boy, this thing is going to become really rare and expensive after release. And even if Freeing were to re-release this figure in a way, I'm not sure how are they going to do it, because this is not a traditional bunny figure with stockings. Oh, I love that huge rifle behind her. Looks like a grenade launcher in some way. If there is a 1x4 skill that I want, kind of badly in a way, I think this would be it. Because I am quite sick of seeing all these 1x4 skill bunny figures almost every week. Way too many of them. But if Freeing were to go ahead and make non-bunny figures and 1x4 like this one a bit more frequently, I wonder how long will it take for me to break down and stop resisting all these temptations. Yeah. I think Ami is selling this for almost 44,000 yen including Japanese tax. So you're getting a really good deal over here from HLJ, 37,600 yen. This is a really good price for a new 1x4 skill by Freeing. Not to mention, Goddess of Victory NIKKE figure. This game, this franchise is something I'm thinking of getting into, but I've never considered 1x4 skill. So this one is very tempting indeed. And if I don't pre-order it early, I'm afraid that could be a bad news. Yeah, after release, it might go up really high in aftermarket value. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this figure, Vivignet Gunbuster. I think this is a classic series, right? Gunbuster. Noriko Takaya, 35th anniversary. Wow, 35th. Okay. So this is something really old and kind of interesting that Union Creative decided to pick up something this old and classic. 23,000 yen is okay. Union Creative figure prices are quite reasonable most of the time. You see, I'm someone with a very dirty mind, and the first time I saw this figure, I tried to cover the bottom half of the figure, and then I put some censorship, some blurry pixels on her right hand, and now what do you see? You see her giving someone a hand job, and then the bukkake is going straight right into her face, right? I mean, alright, so that was literally the first image that came into my mind when I saw this figure, and that is all my own fault. Okay, and moving back to the figure itself, yeah, this is not something very attractive to me in any way. Yeah, I am not a big fan of classic stuff from the 1970s, 1980s. You know, I tried to watch Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta, Gundam Double Z, yeah, all these classic Gundam shows, and I just couldn't bring myself to continue watching them after 8 or 10 episodes. I tried my best because I just couldn't take it, the old classic art style and animation, so I'm not someone who would like something like this. Moving on to the next figure, this is a re-release, and I think this re-release should have been done years ago. I believe this figure came out way back in year 2017, 2018 or so. I did not bother to check, but it was quite a while ago. Became very rare and expensive because this was one of the best Yami figures back then. Maybe still is today. Golden Darkness Yami-chan, call her Yami-chan. Nurse version by Alter for only 18,000 yen. Now, why would you say no to this? You know, this was one of my biggest regrets back then, where I was second guessing. Should I buy one? Should I not? And then when I decided to buy one, it was too late. She was way too rare and expensive. And now I feel so stupid for second guessing again. Like, should I hit that pre-order button? Because, you know, I wanted this back then and I couldn't afford one. Yeah. At the same time, I know that year 2023, 2024 is very different from year 2018, where figures are produced in really huge quantities. I don't think she will become as rare again compared to the first release back then. So might as well wait for the market price to drop right after release. That is the normal decision I would go for, but at the same time, under 18,000 yen is so cheap that it feels a bit dumb not to pre-order it. Yeah. Which one is my yummy figure out of so many in the figure market out there? I'm not sure if this version by Azur is my favorite version because I would prefer Yami in her original outfit, that black color suit, and only one figure brand made that figure, which is Good Smile Company, and the figure came out like in year 2006 or so. Yeah, the 1/8 scale. I do own that figure actually, though I broke the foot back. And since then, nobody made a Yami figure with that outfit anymore. Yeah, the old school, oldest version. This nurse version, it feels a bit fan servicey. I believe this is based on an artwork, but I don't think it is a bad idea to pick one up. Maybe I should, right? Yeah. This is a really good buy for 18,000 yen considering this is coming from Azur. The next one, 1/7 scale Toridamono original character Mira by Wonderful Works, just 21,000 yen after a small discount. Okay, to me, bikini or swimsuit is something just very similar to bunny suits in a way that they are so overdone, they are so common and popular. Well, because mostly their figures require less parts to paint, fewer parts to put together, so they are quite affordable in general. However, this figure is quite attractive to me. It looks really nice in some way, and to me, I feel like I'm looking at Rizalin Stout in a bikini outfit. Just that Ryza does not have a bust size this big, yeah. And that luggage next to her, that is certainly a very nice bonus. So this figure, being an original art character, this is very attractive to me. And just for the sculpt of the figure alone, even though I know nothing about the artist behind this thing, yeah, I feel like I want one. 21,000 yen is certainly a great price, and Wonderful Works as a figure brand. Yeah, their figures are fine, right? I have only reviewed one single figure from them, which is Mona Magisters from Genshin Impact, and judging solely by that one single figure, to me their craftsmanship, their work is quite fine, so might as well pick one up if you like the character design on this one. I think she is really pleasant to look at, yeah. Moving on to the next one over here, this is definitely the highlight of the week. You see, when Asuna Ichinose by Good Smile went on pre-order, I have written off that Asuna, like, this doesn't look as nice as the Max Factory version, especially the face, and I think that is still true, but now that Karin Kakudate is out, yeah, I think we all predicted this, right? There is no way we are only getting Asuna, we are going to get additional characters surrounding that table over there, that desk in a casino, and this is exactly what we are getting over here. Okay, so the front picture over here, right? How she looks like from the front, I think I can put this on screen, but I don't want to put up pictures of her rear view because, yeah, YouTube is not going to like the... This is what the front of the figure looks like, but I'm not going to put up pictures of her back side of her rear view because YouTube doesn't like it. Anyways, this thing, 1/7 scale for 20,000 yen, this is an absolute bargain. You're getting 1/7 scale figure, a bar stool, and that desk with everything on top of it, all those gold coins. Yeah, this is incredible value. If you love Blue Archive, to me, this is a must pre-order. Personally, I still prefer the Kakudate Karin by Max Factory, which was extremely expensive. I think it was close to 30,000 yen, right? The one where she was in a maid outfit, holding a huge machine gun or a cannon, whatever that is. I think it was a 50 cal, not too sure. I like the Max Factory version a lot more, but this one is not bad either, right? So initially, I may have written off Asuna. Yep, this one over here, but now that we have Karin joining in, having two figures displayed together like this looks amazing in any display, right? And I really wish that they add a third character behind them because 3 characters looks better than 2. We call it the rule of odds in photography, right? Where an odd number of main subjects looks more pleasant to the human eye. So 1 or 3 or 5. So this one right here, we have 2 of them. If we can have a third one in between, both of them standing up right behind or maybe sitting in front in the center, that would look amazing. So I'm hoping for a third character, but which one? I'm not sure myself, right? Moving on to the next one, we have another Azur Lane figure. Well, we seem to have at least one almost every week. This is also by Good Smile, also only 20,000 yen. Okay, Chen from Azur Lane. Is this the best Chen Hai figure? I'm not too sure, right? There have been so many and I couldn't keep track. All I do remember is I think Apex Toys also made a figure of Chen Hai. But once again, you look at the base over there, I think there are some lilies on it and then have a tree branch with the figure sitting on top, 20,000 yen only. It is just incredible how in the past few months, in the past half year in fact, figure prices have come down to such an extent where figures are over 25,000 yen are not as common anymore. Nowadays, it feels like a lot of new figures, be it original characters or some famous characters from mainstream game franchises like Azur Lane, they are falling between that 17,000 to 25,000 yen price range. And the only exception I could think of is FGO, where almost every new figure from this franchise will go above the 25k mark, at least initially, right? Bargain bin prices after release is a different matter altogether. We are talking about the official recommended retail price, right? Perhaps this is a result of competition from Chinese figure brands, and then Japanese brands are starting to take notice. Like, we need to keep our prices in check or Chinese figure brands will just dominate. And this is a good thing for us consumers. Competition is always a good thing, right? Yeah, and I'm looking forward to more affordable figures in year 2024. 20k for this Chen Hai figure, why not? She doesn't even need to be the best Chen Hai figure out there. All it needs to do is to offer value, like something very decent, something B plus or A minus for a great price like 20k. Yeah, a lot of people are going to buy it. Up next, we have something ultra expensive again by proof. 53,000 yen for Eren Yeager as a Titan. The figure size is 25 centimeters tall, non-scale of course, right? Okay, so 53,000 yen feels really overpriced to me. If this thing was huge, like so tall, almost 1/6 scale, minimum 1/6 scale or 1/5 scale, then I can justify the 53,000 yen, but just for adding a small town surrounding this figure, which is the same size as a 1/7 scale figure, I'm not sure if 53,000 yen is justifiable. Yeah, I think this figure is at most 40,000 yen. Moving on to the next one, we have something classic again in a way. Azur Lane from Bastard by Union Creative, 24,000 yen, almost coming out in August next year. Yeah, not my kind of figure once again. You know, the hairstyle of this character reminds me of anime characters from 1960s, 1970s. Yeah, the Gundam shows I mentioned earlier, Gundam Zeta, the Gundam Double Z, and those character designs, never been a fan of it, so I don't see myself buying something like this. Moving on to the next figure, Nekkomi illustration, One More Vacation by Union Creative, 19,000 yen. Okay, there is something really attractive about a girl wearing very little clothes or wearing just the bikini and then you put on just gloves. Imagine an anime character, game character wearing whatever you can think of in mind but very little clothes on, and then you add on gloves and stockings. The character immediately looks ultra attractive in some way. Yeah, so this figure, quite attractive to me to be honest, but I don't like her eyes. I'm not sure if it is lighting in photography or that is how the character looks like in the original art, but I feel like I'm looking at a dead goldfish in some way. The eyes are kind of dead to me. Yeah, when I look closer, it doesn't look as bad, but from a distance, the eyes are not very sparkly, not very lively in some way. Probably just the art style, so I have mixed feelings with this figure. Especially from this angle, yeah, looks like a dead goldfish in some way. But I'm sure some of you will find this figure extremely attractive. Moving on to the next one, 1/6 scale Strawberry Shortcake Bastille Girl, Salon de Vitrine from, or Vitrine, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, like is that French or... Anyways, this is by Max Factory, 22,300 yen, 22.3k. Now that is a great price for 1/6 scale. This is not my kind of figure, but at the same time, how do I put it? How do I describe this figure over here? Like, I wouldn't say I like the character design, but at the same time, I find it kind of attractive in a way. It has to be that garter belt, right? It has to be the garter belts because I love garter belts. So do you like something like this? This feels very girlish in a way, but as a guy, I do like pink color a lot. To me, the color isn't an issue. 1/6 scale, this should be at least 26 or 27 centimeters tall, and coming from Max Factory, a brand you can trust easily. Their craftsmanship, their work is really good. Yeah, there we go, 26 cm. Okay, coming from Max Factory, yeah, I don't think you have to worry. If you like her, go ahead and hit that pre-order button. The next one, 1/7 scale Love Live Nijigasaki High School Idol Club, Ayumu Uehara. The only Uehara I know is Ai Uehara, and if you don't know who she is, go and Google it. Okay, this one is coming out in April, which is just 4 months away, by PM Office A, which is actually Plum. Okay, 19,000 yen. Now, I'm not sure why they could push this figure out in April. Maybe this figure went on pre-order many months ago, and now HLJ is simply pushing the figure listing up to the main page, the front page, just because maybe they're not getting many pre-orders on this. They still have leftover slots, you know. Ami does this very often, but HLJ, I don't see them doing this as much as Ami, right? So I'm not sure if this figure already went on pre-order. I don't have any memory because to me, Love Live is just so forgettable nowadays compared to the first two series. Yeah, the first series, what was the name again? I can't remember. And the second one was Arcos. Right? After that, everything just seems to be quite forgettable. 19,000 yen once again, that is a great price for a 1/7 scale figure nowadays. So it really depends on whether you like the latest version of Love Live, which I don't see many people talk about. Other than being in Japan, of course, it is extremely popular. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we have Wave Corporation and DreamTech 1/7 scale Harenohi Cafe Fukumaru Koito from Idolmaster Shiny Colors, which I told myself I need to start watching the anime adaptation, but I have yet to start watching it. This is also just 20,000 yen. And she comes with 2 face plates. Character design wise, this is pretty ordinary. I do like my lollies, but this one doesn't really appeal to me that much. The pose though is quite photogenic. As a photographer, I already have some images of this figure in my mind. How would I want to photograph this thing? And as for the faceplate options, this is the second one, a smiling faceplate. So do you prefer this one, or do you prefer the surprised Pikachu faceplate, right? I think I prefer the surprised Pikachu face instead. Yeah, to me this one looks quite a bit better. Because a smiling faceplate is just so common. Yeah, so anything that is slightly different, I welcome it. Moving on to the next one, 1/4 scale. This is a 1/4, okay? B-Style Azur Lane Manchester Midnight Devil in white by freeing only 30,000 yen. I thought Azur Lane stuff are supposed to be really expensive, especially the 1/4 scales. A lot of them are above 38,000 yen. Why is this thing 30,000 yen? I'm not too sure. Maybe because she is wearing less clothes, less parts to paint and assemble. Or maybe because this is simply not a very attractive figure, because that is what I feel, so they have to price it a bit lower to get people to buy it, right? To me, there isn't much details going on with this figure, yeah. Moving on to the next one over here, another bunny girl suit, right? Like, everyone is trying to be Mai Sakurajima. Not that Mai Sakurajima is the OG character that represents Black Bunny suits, but she is perhaps the most well-known one out there. Alright, so we have Ishimi Yokoyama Black Bunny version, original character by Luminous Box at 1/7 scale, 16,200 yen. And despite me complaining about bunny figures every week, this one is quite nice. I actually like this figure a lot. And that open back over there, oh, that is really nice. I love this open back over here. And then, her legs are painted. Doesn't look like fabric stocking to me. But then again, this is only 16,000 yen, so I suppose I should keep my expectations in check. Do I like the figure? Yes, I like it quite a bit. But can I see myself buying it? Probably not. Yeah. In fact, her face and the character design over here reminds me of Haganai, this anime called Haganai. I'm not sure if you are familiar with it. If you have been watching anime for 10 years at least, then you might have heard of Haganai. Otherwise, maybe you won't know anything about it, right? The art style is quite similar over here. Okay, moving on to the next one over here, another re-release, and I think a lot of you are going to love this one. I am not a big fan of Snow Miku. I still prefer the original color scheme of Miku, you know, that turquoise green blue color. But anyways, for those of you who want one, now can have a 1x4 skill Snow Miku for just 25,400 yen. This is your second chance, and this is certainly a great price for a 1x4 skill. Personally, I would even go as far to tell you to pre-order and buy this free-ink 1x4 skill version over buying the 1x4 skill Pop-Up Parade XL by Good Smile Company, which is also around 25,000 yen. Right? Pop-Up Parade XL is not going to be as good as these free-ink 1x4s. Free-ink 1x4 skills are not that high standard as figures, they are just huge with decent paintwork. And sometimes they still screw up their paintwork even. But I would rather you get a free-ink 1x4 skill B style over getting a Pop-Up Parade any time of the day, including the L and XL ones, especially when the prices are so close, 400 yen of difference only, right? Okay, moving on to the next one, 1x4 skill again. This is Momobilia de Veluque by Union Creative, 36,000 yen, ouch. I still prefer the 1x4 skill Momobilia de Veluque bunny suit by Free Ink. I used to own one actually. I used to own that one, but I sold it to my friend. Do I regret it? I'm not too sure how to answer that, because while I do regret selling one of my beloved waifus, even more so at 1x4 skill, and that Momo is ultra expensive nowadays, right, the stocking version, so I have no chance of getting the figure back again at normal price, but at the same time, selling that figure allowed me to get all the FGO stuff I want, so I'm really not sure how to feel whether I regretted selling that Momo or not. And this figure, in a way, it is a second chance for me. Like, you want another 1x4 skill Momo? There you go. Bikini version by Union Creative. And the only negative of this figure is something I have been complaining a lot about swimsuit figure as well. This thing is too plain and simple, right? At the same time, To Love Ru is all about fan service, right? So the less clothes, the better. So I'm not sure what to feel about this, because this one, just plain bikini figure for 36,000 yen feels rather expensive to me. I would say this one shouldn't be more than 30,000 yen, really. Yeah, you are only paying for the size actually. So I'm not too keen on paying 36k for this Momo. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this one is quite detailed, coming from Good Smile for only 18,000 yen. Banzai. Cheap figures every week nowadays. I love this trend so much. 1x6 skill, man. 1x6 skill. Yukino Shita. Light novel volume 6 cover illustration version 18k. Yeah, pick one up if you love her. The only one single negative about this figure is the pose, which you can't blame the figure or Good Smile for it, because they are just following the artwork. But something plain like this is great for photography. Like, it is very easy to build a diorama surrounding the figure, right? And of course, she does not take up much space. The height or the scale of the figure is rarely an issue. It is usually the amount of surface area it takes up, and figures like this, they take up barely any space. So go for it if you loved my teen romantic comedy Snafu. I certainly did like it. Though there was so much philosophical stuff going on in dialogue. Sometimes I need to pause and process things for a while when I watch the anime. Okay, moving on to the next one over here. Another figure from Idol Master Million Life. 22,000 yen. Okay, Kaori Sakuramori Aesthetic Serenity. 1x7 skill by Kotobukiya. So this isn't Art FXJ series or any other product line, so when there is no product line on a Kotobukiya figure, it means it is higher quality in some way, right? 22,000 yen for a lying figure like this, yeah, not too bad either. I'm sure you guys noticed by now, right? Every single figure I've covered that is not a 1x4 scale, they are all under 25,000 yen, except for the Titan and the resin figure, which is expected. Yeah, lovely trend with anime figures indeed. Typical Kotobukiya work, isn't it? Do you see any shading in the paintwork? I don't see any. But for something bright colored like this, I wouldn't expect shading anyway. Yeah, we'll get some really nice amount of details over there, but no shading, not even in the hair. You see, the brown hair is just flat brown, and all those shading, so-called shading, you see, it is just shadow from the sculpting, from all the lines, right? No shading at all in the hair as well. And I wonder if you really have to keep track how many small bits of rose petals over there you need to keep track so that you don't lose them. I mean, 15 of them. You need to remember there are 15 of them and you shouldn't lose any of it. Yeah, 5 by 3, 15 pieces of petals in the box. I really hate keeping small parts, and one of the main reasons why I don't like collecting Nandoroids is I need to keep track of these super tiny parts. I'm not really good at all in keeping track of anything that is too small. I tend to lose them. Okay, moving on to the next one. 1x6 skill by Daiki Kogyo for 23,000 yen. A girl you'll benefit from meeting. Yeah, I can see that. Tokujo-chan, Hinako Otori illustration, Nekomugi. Nekomugi, quite a famous artist. I'm not really a fan of the float she is holding in her left hand. And isn't the float a bit too small? I don't see how that float can fit around her waist, right? The cut out in the center, that hole in the center, is not even as big as the thinnest section of her, of her waist over there, right? The float is too small. All depends on whether you like the art of this character, isn't it? Okay, moving on to the next one. This figure is coming out in January in 2024, which is like next month. I have no idea why HLJ put it up on the front page. Maybe they push it up. It went on pre-order long ago. So I'm not going to cover or talk about this figure too much. This is pretty much the ultimate Chainsaw Man figure out there by Eastream for 42k. If you can afford it, maybe go for it. Otherwise, can just skip it. There are so many options out there for Chainsaw Man. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, the next 3 figures, they are all pop-up rates or low-cost figures. The first one, we have Mao Mao from the Kakudate Karin Diaries. I'm sorry. Even though English is my most spoken language as a Chinese, I don't speak Mandarin that well actually. I'm better in English, but still I don't know how to pronounce that word properly. Okay, so this one is under 4,000 yen, normal price for pop-up rate, and judging by the title of the series she came from, this has to be seasonal anime, right? I remember seeing something with this title in anime websites, but I did not watch it. So, village bumpkin girl picking up vegetable in the forest, I suppose. There is something really old school about this one. Like, there's an old school feeling over there. Freckles on her face. Nice touch. So, really depends whether you know something about her. I really know nothing at all. The next one, I think it's from the same series, right? Oh, no. The next one is Mima Kirigoe from Perfect Blue, which is also really old. I think Perfect Blue is an anime from the 1990s. Correct me if I am wrong, but I've seen this title before. Also under 4,000 yen. And wow, she's bleeding? Yup. For some reason, this is 1990s art style, you see. When I look at her back, the way they sculpt the body, all those curves and so on, it is not that well defined. Like nowadays, anime characters, game characters, they have a relatively perfect or unrealistic body shape, Like, the bust size can be 90 or 100, and then the waist is half of that, 50 or 60. Meanwhile, the back of this figure, the body shape over here, it looks more like a typical average human being, which is fit enough, not overweight, but not too skinny either. Yeah, this is something average looking. Okay, so we move on to the next figure, the last one on HLJ. Tenitol series by Furyu, low-cost figure, Mahiru Shina from the Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I did watch this anime all the way to the end, you see. It was a bit too slow-paced and boring, but I did finish it anyway because, well, a man can dream, right? Like, everyone would dream to have a girlfriend like her. Let's face it. She is the sweetest thing I've seen in anime in the past 6 months or so. But let's face it, right? In real life, where do you find a classmate in school or college who isn't your girlfriend technically, who is also your neighbor, and she will cook you dinner every day just because she is concerned about your diet, your unhealthy diet? No, doesn't happen in real life. Why would someone do something for you so loyally without expecting anything in return? People like that don't even exist nowadays, right? We live in a very self-centric society nowadays. If someone does a lot of things for you, it means that they're expecting something in return. That is how that's how things are nowadays. Okay, back to topic. This figure for 5,800 yen, can I recommend it? Absolute yes. Is there a scale figure of Mahiru Shina? I think there was one by Furyu as well, either Furyu or Kadokawa. I think it is Furyu for around 21,000 yen. And she was holding a transparent umbrella, right? If my memory served me correctly. But if you do not want to invest too much money into the figure of an anime character which is considered seasonal, this is one of the best you can get out there, right? This is really great. And this is totally reflective of what we saw in the anime. Like I said, she is always cooking dinner for our main character. So this is a really good buy for 5,800 yen. Okay, before we move on to third parties, as usual, a quick mention about figures at Ninin Game. This month we have this Nikan Shoujo figure over here. By Insight, only one. Well, technically two of them. One by 6 skill and one by 4 skill. So yeah, these are the only new figures, new ecchi figures on Ninin Game for this week. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we shall move on to third-party resin figures, making use of OzGK, which is our affiliate partner. And for most of the figures I'm about to cover, there are affiliate pre-order links down in the descriptions below. Make use of it if you are interested in any of the figures I'm about to cover. Now for third-party figures this week, oh boy, I feel so conflicted. I have no idea how to react to this one figure which we will talk about later because I want the figure so much, but from a moral and ethics standpoint, I shouldn't be supporting it. Yeah, because there is nothing like that figure out there so far. Okay, as usual, I have already selected the figures I want to cover, mostly female characters. Now let's go for the first one over here, Anya from Spy Family. We have a lot of Anya figures in the third-party markets somehow. I'm not sure why. Like, would people actually pay 88, $100 for a resin figure of Anya when there are so many cheap price figures of her already? Yeah, if we look at the high-quality skill figures side of things, we had Kotobukiya, we had Good Smile, we have good options, but yet these third parties continue to push out Anya figures every other month. I have no idea, maybe people actually buy them, right? What do I know? Different people will have different tastes compared to me. So this one, we have Anya and Bond by BYB Studio for $88. Given that they're including bonds over here, I would say this is a relatively fair price for what you're getting. And this should be 1 by 6 skill, right? Should be. And this figure is coming out in March, which is not too far away. Well, a pretty simple figure for them to mass produce, I suppose. Moving on to the next one, Beast Studio. Okay, that one studio which has a history of art theft. I'm just letting you guys know in advance. But we shall look at things objectively, okay? Case by case basis. If that product is a product of theft, then don't support it, don't buy it. But if it is their own original work, then maybe if you like it, go ahead and purchase one, right? So I wouldn't go as far to say not buy a single thing from this brand, but you look at things objectively, case by case basis. So with this magician girl over here, is this their own original figure or they stole it from somewhere? The answer is I don't know. There is no way for me to keep track of every single artwork in existence on the internet. So if you know something, let me know down in the comments below. But I'm going to do my coverage as usual every week. So this Dark Magician Girl over here at 1 by 4 skill is $449, and I don't think I've seen a 1 by 4 skill of Dark Magician Girl yet. 1 by 6, 1 by 7, yes, there are many of them out there for as low as $150. But if you want 1 by 4 skill, I think this is one of the very first ones out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the next problem I can see with this figure, I think many of you can relate with me as well, is the face. This is more of a realistic style face, I think. Yeah. So this is subjective to your own personal taste. Some people will like it, some people will not like this face over here. It is up to you. Okay, moving on to the next figure over here, we have a super deformed or cute style Mikasa from Attack on Titan by RZ Studio, $86 US. Now this is quite a good looking cute figure of Mikasa, right? Yeah, this looks really great. $86 is actually okay. Like, this is a bit like a more detailed version of a Nendoroid, right? Like Nendoroid, the torso, the body of a Nendo is so small with barely any details on it. This is a huge step up. And the face of this figure, yeah, I like it a lot. This is a really nice face. I hope they don't mess up the face over here. And this one is also somewhere 14 centimeters. So this is the height of a Figma. A Figma is around 14 or 15 cm. Not too bad for $86. Moving on to the next one, we have an early bird pre-order. They don't even have a prototype yet. Okay, Honey Peach Studio Yaemiko from Genshin Impact. This is 1x4 scale, so there is a normal clothes version, this one over here in this picture, and there will be a swimwear version, right? So basically this is like what do you call that? Casual version of an existing popular game character. We need more pictures though before I can comment any further. Moving on to the next one. Okay, Noah Studio Overlord Albedo, and we are only getting a photo of her wearing bikini. Like, what kind of teaser pic is this? If you want to show us a teaser pic and then you hide the face, because it is a teaser, and then you show us a plain bikini body, like, what is that supposed to tell us, right? Doesn't tell us anything. This could have been the body of any other anime or game character. I think they should have shown us a picture of her wings instead of the main body over here, because that tells us what the quality is like, what can we expect, right? Okay, moving on to the next one. Y Studio, we have Kafka from Honkai Star Rail at... Okay, there is 1x7 and 1x4 scale, but this is an early bird pre-order. The price is not yet confirmed over here, right? 1x7 scale, $186 US, but subject to change. I'm not expecting it to change way too much, maybe plus minus $10-15 at best. And then there is a 1x4 scale, $319. Oh my god, this face looks terrible. The anime version is so much better, right? This face looks terrible. And there is character plus DLC. DLC is not a nude version, unfortunately, if that is what you're looking for. DLC means you're getting two heads, right? The anime version and the realistic version. Specifically for this figure, it is mentioned down here in the description. DLC content to be updated, but for now they're telling you double heads. Is this the best Kafka figure out there? No, far from it. I've seen better one. It was also why I pre-ordered the Imagination Studio one. I think that the face on that one is excellent, but unfortunately she got caught in this Chinese authorities sketching lewd figures thing that I have talked about for the past 2 weeks. So I don't know how long she will be delayed at this point. Quite sad, really. Okay, moving on to the next one. TGZW Studio and Manyo Studio Ghostblade Lilian. Wow, $3,000. I see. Okay, so there is a half scale for $1,600 almost, and there is a life-sized for $3,000. I'm not sure if $3,000 is worth it for a life-sized bust figure. I mean, pay $3,000 for this realistic looking half body to stare at you every day, and then eventually this thing become possessed, I have no idea, and it will scare the heck out of you and then you have to sell it later. I don't know. For me, I'm not a fan of bust figures in general. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is perhaps one of the more popular ones this week. Okay, Hunyo Studio Guanmei from Honkai Star Rail. There is 1x4 and 1x7 scale early bird pre-order. The price is not yet known. This is just a placeholder, not the actual price. But now we know there is 1x7 and 1x4, and this is one of the simpler figures of Guanmei. Every single previous figures of her I've seen She comes with this giant tree where she is sitting on it, and then the whole figure just looks so huge and bulky and fragile in some way. This one is a bit more generic looking, but some people might prefer it because she takes up less space, right? This almost feels like many of the original character figures I've seen from Chinese brands lately, and also the Azur Lane ones where they are wearing Chinese dress. Very similar feel over here. Moving on to the next one, we have Zero Tetragonal Studio Hell's Paradise Yuzuriha. Now this is something new. Jigokuraku or Hell's Paradise seasonal anime. So I wasn't expecting a third-party figure brand to pick up a character from Jigokuraku. There are a number of genuine figures of Yuzuriha out there already, from Pop-Up Parade to Kotobukiya Art FXJ and a few other brands I think. They are not yet released. So to see a third-party figure brand coming up with a 1/6 scale of Yuzuriha is a bit surprising. If this was 1/4, I think would make more sense, but 1/6 scale, okay. For $239 US, that is actually a good price. However, this is indeed a very unique figure of Yuzuriha, just that you have to deal with the realistic looking face over there, which once again, I have never been a fan of. But if you want to strip her down nude, you want a nude version of her, then yes, you have to go for the third party, right? But this one, the face, I don't like it at all. Yeah, not a fan of it. Moving on to the next one from Yohol Studio, we have Honkai Star Rail Silver Wolf, $194 US at 1/6 scale. Yeah, you can remove the clothes on this figure. So at $194, this is actually an okay price. Just that her boob size is the wrong size. I think the one by NIPP Studio was the best example of a great figure of Silver Wolf, right? This one, can I recommend this figure of Silver Wolf by Yohol Studio? Well, really depends on whether you want something fan servicey or not, I suppose. I do like the face a lot. Right, the face is really good on this one. Moving on to the next one, we have Search Studio Naruto, Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Neji. This is Hinata. I'm covering it because of Hinata. So you get 1/6 scale for $169. Not bad. $169 for 1/6 scale, and 1/4 scale is only $278. So one could even argue that it is more worth it to go for 1/4 scale when it is only $278 US, and the whole thing is 51.7 centimeters. Yeah, the pose is a bit generic, no special effect or anything, but I think I prefer it this way, right? Don't overcomplicate a figure, which is something third parties like to do a lot. $278 is a really good buy, seriously. Moving on to the next one from Black Studio, we have One Piece Stussy or Stussy. How to pronounce that? Stussy. $194 US. Do we have characters like this in One Piece? But once again, I don't watch One Piece, so what do I know? I think the wings are stealing a lot more attention away from the main figure, isn't it? Yeah. It is like they put so much effort, 80% of the effort into the wings, and then let's just do a simple job for the body, just give her a plain white dress. $194 is a good price though, right? It is not expensive for a 1/6 scale resin figure. Moving on to the next one, this is the most heartbreaking figure this week. ACG Studio Genshin Impact, Ganyu, Shenhe, and Keqing. Three of them together in this really, this really sexy hot pose, this really attractive pose. The normal version, where this is what you get, this picture over here, for $300 US, and then there is an 18+ version, same exact pose, but entirely nude. Yeah, around the same price actually, and then the set is $507 where you get both, right? Which to me is very reasonable, but this is where the problem comes. Unfortunately, I have to cover the figure partially once again, but this is the most unfortunate part. This is a product of art theft. And despite knowing that very fact that this is a result of art theft, I'm still tempted. I still want this figure somehow because I have never seen anything like this in anime figures, be it the genuine ones or the third party ones, you see. I mean, look at the face expression of these three figures. Oh, this is perfect. This is amazing. And my friend alerted me to this artwork where these three figures are based on. It is on PicSafe, which I am also including in the descriptions below. This artwork by Haku89. And Haku89 is actually selling this artwork over here in the form of Dakimakura, which you can buy it for 8,000 yen. But unfortunately, since the author of this artwork never mentioned anything about the figure which I just showed you guys, yeah, this is most likely a result of art theft. So I can't recommend you guys to go and pick one up. Come on, ACG Studio, just pay up a licensing fee and charge me another $100. I would buy the DX version, the deluxe version, where I get both for 600 bucks. That is fine. Instead of 500, charge me 600, but pay up a licensing fee, approach the artist, because this figure is just such a waste not to be released as a licensed product. Yeah, third party licensed figure. Approach the artist, try to strike a deal in some way and increase the price. I don't care. I would pay for this thing, seriously. This is like the ultimate Genshin figure. Ooh, the ultimate trio of Genshin figure I've seen so far. Feels like missed opportunity over here. Moving on to the next one from Stereoscopic Delusion Studio, we have Jandiak Alter from FGO, Fate's Grand Order. The price is not yet confirmed, but expected to be around $352. But since this is a realistic face version of the character, no thank you, right? Not a fan of it. Yeah, realistic face conversion. Well, I don't think the pose is that attractive either, isn't it? Moving on to the next one from Buffer Studio, we have Genshin Impact Racing Raiden Shogun, going for $659. Okay, that is the collection version where you're getting a nude body as well. The regular version is actually $490, which is typical 1x4 skill pricing, right? Now, this is a realistic conversion once again, but the face is quite nice to look at. At the same time, yeah, this is just smoking hot, man. I've always loved racing outfit because they just look so attractive, but at the same time, buying realistic face figures feels like buying a figure of a cosplayer of that very set character, rather than buying a figure of the character itself, right? So I'm not sure what to feel over here. Is this attractive? Yes, indeed, but realistic faces, I'm not too sure. Some people love it, right? And I'm not going to tell you not to buy it if you love it. This is certainly a very attractive figure, yeah. Up next, another early bird pre-order, Navia from Genshin Impact by Halo Studio, and we are only getting a 3D render over here. This looks like a 3D render to me, not really a photo of the figure. Yeah, very nice indeed, but I want to see the actual product, right? So we'll save this for next time in case we get more pictures. Okay, moving on to the next one from Yi Kwai Studio, we have Yamato from One Piece. Same thing, every week we have figures of Yamato, right? This one looks okay. The face is a bit too round, don't you think? I'm not a fan of the face on this version of Yamato though. There was a better figure of her last week. I can't even remember which studio anymore. This one is only $141, so she is quite cheap at least. Moving on to the next one. Okay, this is really nice. Misono Mika from Blue Archive by Snow Studio. Just that we don't know the price yet. I don't think this will be $400 at 1x6 skill. More like $250, right? Okay, this is sweet indeed. Very nice. Let's have a look at the face. Yeah. All that is left is the price of this figure. This is very nice. I would even recommend you guys to get it if you love Blue Archive. Oh, and I feel so sorry for that plushie over there being squeezed like that. But the plushie should be feeling really happy for getting squished under that nice backside. Moving on to the next one, we have Statue of Liberty. And yeah, okay, so this one is $78. You can get it in primary color version, which is basically, yeah, statue color. And there is the color version for $78. Personally, I would prefer the statue color, you know, like you could display this even on your own workplace desk and it will look more like an ornament rather than a figure. Yeah. Personally, if I were to buy this, I would go for the statue color rather than the painted color version because the Statue of Liberty is a statue to begin with. Though I would like the paint work to be a bit more matte finish instead of this shiny finish in order for it to look like actual rock or cement, you know. Or was it a bronze statue? I'm not too sure. Okay. The next one, yeah, to be honest, I have no idea why this figure was so popular when I posted it on my Facebook page. Maybe because of the fan service over there, because this pair of figures look terrible detail-wise. It is just Frieren and Fern wrapped in white towel on plain white dress with barely any details on it. So even though two figures for $337 is pretty reasonable in terms of pricing, I still can't recommend it because the figures look very amateurish. Like, there's barely anything going on. You're buying it mainly for the fan service alone. So I'm not sure if I could recommend this at all. I would say be patient and wait for better figures of these characters from other studios or even from genuine figure brands. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Okay, we have Kafka from Honkai Star Rail. This one has a pretty nice face actually, and you get 1x7 skill for $180. There is 1x4 skill for $289, and there is a 1x4 skill silicone version for $380 different material. We have any close-up picture? Yeah, the face on this one is actually not bad, right? Quite a nice face over there. But once again, we put Kafka inside a bikini outfit. I'm not sure if I like that, right? But at 1x4 scale, this should be quite a sight to behold when you display it on your shelf. Moving on to the next one from BT Studio, we have Boa Hancock. From One Piece, we have one every week anyways. This one is going for $139 only for the standard version, which is Boa Hancock only. But if you want that serpent at the back, the EX version, then it is $188, which is still extremely reasonable. So if you just love Boa Hancock, yeah, just go ahead and pick up the deluxe version. Unless you already have many Boa Hancock figures and you don't want to have the snake in every single figure of her, then you go for the regular version, right? Depends how many figures of Boa Hancock you already have currently. And the last two figures, I believe they are X-rated stuff, so I need to crop in a lot, right, and show you guys the face only. Okay, the first one over here from ABS Studio, Azur Lane, USS St. Louis. 1x6 scale for $161 and 1x4 scale for $289. Yeah, I could only show you this picture over here because she is 100% nude, completely nude, right? And the last figure for today from Ocelot Studio, we have Kafka from Honkai Star Rail doing the golden shower in front of a bar, which is quite inappropriate unless that is what, who knows what the customer wanted. They wanted to witness it. Some people love their... If you want to see more, just go to this website, OsGK, type in Ocelot Studio Kafka, and you will find this figure. But even the official product pictures are also censored in some way. And kind of amazing that despite the actions of authorities in China clamping down on lewd figures, they are still coming up with these figures anyway, because maybe they have a way of getting around it, right? And that is all for genuine figures and third-party figures on pre-order this week between 18th to 23rd of December 2023. Which figure will you pre-order this week? Let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel for more weekly figure news as well as figure reviews. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and goodbye.